Hi everyone, my name is Emmanuel and this is Max Confessions. On today's episode, I have a guest who is here to talk about her personal journey and experience being incarcerated in one of Nigeria's premium facilities, the Kirikiri Female Correctional Facility. As always, it's not my story to tell, but hers. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. Talk to me about this experience. How did this come about? Like, how did you find yourself in a correctional facility?
Okay, it was in 2022. I was in a bad financial situation.
Okay.
So I had a friend that I met on a dating app.
Male or female?
A male friend.
Okay.
Sorry, a male friend that I
Okay.
met on a dating app, and we just decided to, hang out and all of that stuff, and we did, and it was in his house. So the next morning when I was leaving, I went through his stuff and I
Okay.
actually took one of his gold jewelry,
Okay.
and that was how the whole ordeal started. Few days later, I was tracked, found, arrested, and that was how the journey to Kirikiri began. Prior to that, I was in the police station for about 6 days,
Okay.
waiting to know what was going on and all of that stuff. So it was on a Thursday, on the 12th of April. I was charged to court, and from court, I was taken to the female correctional facility at Kirikiri. And I was there for a couple of months, and it was just a whole lot. So that was how it was theft that took me there. I took it, I did it, and I was there.
They usually say, or rather, there's this saying, if you do the crime, then you do the time.
Right.
But my first question would be, wasn't it resolvable out of court?
We tried to, but by the time the person in question that owns the stuff, by the time it could find me, I'd already sold the particular stuff,
Okay.
and it wasn't willing to settle out of court. It wasn't willing to. So the DPO of that particular station told him to, if he wants to pursue the case, he should kukuma just charge me to court, and that was what happened. And we got to court. I was asked if I was guilty or not, and my lawyer told me to. The way lawyers would tell you to not say guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was it.
You pleaded guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay.
So I was told to go perfect a bill of 1 million naira.
Okay.
So I'll be at the correctional facility by the time I perfect my bill.
Okay, so that was how you
The
managed.
whole that was how I landed in Kirikiri, and then life in Kirikiri on its own is for me that stayed there for a couple of months. It was not rosy. Not to talk of people that have been there for years, people that are serving time, people that don't even know where the next case is going to. So
Before we talk about Kirikiri and the entire situation surrounding that, I would love to turn the light a bit on you as a person and how life was before this thing happened. I would love to ask, was it your first time taking something that didn't belong to you?
yeah, very first and very last.
What was the situation of your life at the time that made you make that move?
I was in the debt of almost 2 million naira or more at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, when I got to station and they were asking me, have you done this before? Nobody would believe you haven't done that before.
Of course.
It was like, oh, it was a premeditated thought. You thought about it, you took it. But God sees my heart. I didn't have that thing in mind prior to me hanging out with that boy. Up until that morning, then it was just, you need to take this. This will solve like almost 90% of your problems. And that was just,
How big was the jewelry in question?
it was a gold chain, just a tiny gold chain, just like something like that. When I went to pawn it off, it was worth about 900K.
Okay.
But when the case was reported to the station, the guy claims it was worth about 5 million. So that was why my bail was set at
A million.
1 million naira. Yeah.
So he exaggerated the figure just because he wanted to get back at you.
Yeah, he did. So it was just like a very bad time
Mm.
in my life, and I'm not proud of it, but it was not thinking about it now, it was not enough reason to for me to have been away from the whole world for about 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
But yeah, that was what happened.
Like you said you guys met on a dating app.
Hmm.
Was there any form of bonding relationship? Like, what was the conversation about?
Oh, we were actually cool friends. We were actually very cool friends.
Couldn't you have spoken to him about what you were dealing with at the time, and asked for financial
Well,
assistance?
I should have done that, but I didn't think that anybody would have,
Come through for you?
yeah, like tried to help. I didn't think about that because he himself said it at the station that if I had asked him, he would have given me. Even the police were asking if we were in a relationship. Like, this is a boyfriend girlfriend situation. You guys should go solve it at home. And he kept saying, no, we just want some money. I said, I can give you the money, but you can't have all of it because I already spent out of it.
Okay.
And he was like, no, he wants the 5 million in cash, and that's where the issue is because you can't get 5 million in cash. That's how the whole situation. I got to prison. I keep going to court every now and then. It doesn't show up. For a complainant to take a defendant to prison, you have to show up in court for the case to go on.
Mm.
So every time I go to court, it's either the court does not sit or is not in court or my prosecutor is not around. So they just keep wasting my time, no trial, nothing. If your complainant doesn't come like up to 3 times for the court hearing, the case will be struck out
Okay.
and the defendant released. So he didn't do that. He stopped coming. He only came like twice and he stopped coming.
So was that how you gained your freedom?
Yeah, my lawyer had to, do some work and they had to strike out the case since he was not ready to. He just wanted to
Sure.
keep me there to just, punish me.
Mm.
So yeah.
So let's talk about life behind bars. What was your experience like overall? Tell me about Kirikiri.
Kirikiri is another world on its own. And I'm going to say that if you haven't been there, if you haven't experienced it, you would not know what being in prison is like.
Mm.
The first night there, it was terrible because I thought my case was like, the most serious case.
Mm.
But there are people in there for murder, highway robbery. I'm talking about females. Highway robbery, kidnapping, defilement.
Defilement.
Yes, defilement.
Females like defiled.
Yeah, raping underage. I'm not trying to shame anybody.
Yeah.
But that's like the worst case scenario for defilement, raping someone.
Okay.
Abuse, any type of physical abuse on your help. And for me now, being outside, I would say I really learned a lot while I was there because there are others that do not know the next time they'll come out and hear the sound of a car driving or the next music, or they don't know anything. They're shut out from the world. It's a crazy situation, and if you don't have money, as in physical cash, you can't
Yeah.
survive. You have to have money to be able to live in prison
What's the connection between having money and being in prison?
because you have to feed,
Hold on. The correctional facilities in Nigeria fall under the Ministry of Interior.
right?
And the Ministry of Interior have a whole budget allocated to the feeding of prisoners. And I remember one time I was having a conversation with some friends and we were looking at the allocation for feeding prisoners. And someone was like, in this very harsh economy, is it not better that we just become prisoners and be eating from this? Like, how do we have a very huge budget allocated to feeding prisoners and they still have to need money to survive being incarcerated?
You have to have money. The first night when I got there, I was put in a cell with 25 other different women, hostel setup. We sleep on bunk beds, and we were asked to pay 2,500. That's the money you pay for the cell you're located to. That's the money they use to buy detergents for the bathrooms, brooms for the cell, because you're sharing bathrooms with plenty of people.
Okay.
The yard is not providing those things, those detergents, soap, and all of that. The cell leaders are the ones providing that. So they take contributions from everybody.
The cell leaders are wardens or they are
They
fellow
are
prisoners?
inmates too.
They are inmates.
Yes, everybody working there are inmates Only the food sellers have the wordings that the inmates work for the food sellers.
The inmates work for the food
Yeah,
sellers.
yes, please, they do. And to some extent, I feel like the prison life is even a little bit easier on the females. But for the men, this is the other way, it's tougher for them.
So it's worse for men than females.
I'm very sure it is. The 2,500 that I paid
Okay.
increased to like 5K before I left. That like the new inmates coming while I was, because at my 3rd month, I became an elder in the cell.
So over time,
Yeah,
you gain ground.
yeah, as also because when I came, they had an elder one. She has been there for like 9 years for murder.
Murder.
Yeah, she has been there for 9 years.
Has she been convicted at the time?
No, she was awaiting trial.
Awaiting trial for 9 years.
Yes, we call her elder one. Before I left, I think I was at elder 10 because they had many people they were releasing during those times. Amnesty took some people out. Some will lose amnesty, I think.
Okay.
If they are bringing you from the courts as a first-time prisoner into the prison yard,
Okay.
and the wardens give you a cell to stay, the cell leader will ask you to pay a certain amount. They'll use it to buy mop stick, mop buckets, brooms, brush, soap, detergents, all of those stuff that you need for the bathroom and for the cell buckets. Because some organizations come, they bring food, they bring all of that, and each cell needs to have a big bowl to collect those stuff to share it later.
Okay.
So the yard is not providing that, the wardens are not providing that. The
Okay.
cell is the one that's going to contribute that money to buy those stuff that they will send the wardens, and the wardens will buy and bring to them.
So the wardens actually know this thing goes on.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's an actual thing. We buy diesel for the generator, if the wall generator, if like there's no light for like 3 days and people need to charge their touch lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will contribute. The
Inmates have torchlights.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm ever hearing stories from anybody's experience in Kirikiri. So pardon my shock.
It's alright.
If you refuse to pay the 2,500 on arrival, what happens?
There's yard punishment because the female correctional facility looks like a yard. It's like a building with a big compound around and then a well in the middle. So we call it yard.
Okay.
So there's yard punishment if you fail to pay that money within 48 hours. So you have to call people outside to send money to a warden's account that runs a POS, and they give you cash, or they allocate your money for you how you spend it. They might put 2,000 naira in a particular food vendor's list.
Okay.
So you can go there to eat your 2,000 naira food as long as you want. So that's how they do it.
Minus the money that you pay, the initial deposit that you make to be accepted into the cell, and the money allocated to feeding, which I still want to talk about that. What else do you need money for, like being in prison?
If you're going out, maybe you're going to court,
Okay.
send the wardens to get you something, maybe like bread that could last you for days.
Okay.
Maybe beverages like sachet tea, sachet tomato, because cans are not allowed.
Okay.
Blades are not allowed. Shaving stick, yeah, it's allowed. Mirrors are not allowed. So if you want to eat in the yard too, you have to pay.
To be able to eat in the yard.
Yeah, to be able to buy food, buy yam and egg, buy fried rice, buy shawarma. There are different types of food. Just have your money, you eat. If you don't have your money, it's just eba and agusi that they use soya beans to make, and beans and rice on Friday afternoon. That's what you eat. We only have rice 2 times in a week.
You have rice twice in a week.
Aside from Sundays. Sundays, the Redeemed Christian Church, a branch near Apapa brings jollof rice.
Okay.
In the morning, the yard serves white rice. But because I don't like the stew they make, I have to buy a proper stew from the wardens. And it's actually nice. In real time, cash is contraband, but they give the grace to some people that want to eat and all of that. And whenever they want to do general searching, they're going to confiscate all of the cash. But they are the ones that gave you that cash.
Yeah.
But they are still the ones that will confiscate it later at midnight during searching. And phones and power banks and everything.
So people actually have access to phones as well.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that you have many prisoners as subscribers. Sorry, my bad, inmates.
There are cases of sexual abuse amongst inmates.
True.
Did you experience any of that while you were there?
I didn't experience that. I was not hit on. I wasn't asked to be somebody's friends. Only that when you come in your cell, they give you a cell mother. That's somebody that's been there for a long time that will teach you what to do and what not to do, where to step. It's a prison. It's not your father's house.
Yeah.
There are things you're not supposed to do, and if you do it, there is punishment. And that punishment, you can cut the grass for the whole yard. You can they can send you to go clean the toilets, one of the worst toilets in the, or they could lock somebody up in a single cell.
The mothers don't take advantage of whoever that has been assigned to them.
Some mothers do take advantage, but some mothers the mother I was given didn't do that.
Okay.
In age, real life, I'm way older than her, but she has been there. Like when I got there, I was like, what? In my mind, I was like, what's this small girl doing here? I didn't even know they were going to give me, like, she's going to be my mother.
So being a mother there is not a factor of age.
No, it's not a factor. Anybody can be anybody's mother.
Basically longevity.
Yes, longevity that determines.
What was her crime? Do you remember?
She was an auxiliary nurse.
Okay.
She worked with somebody that aborted for one of his patients, and the patient died.
Oh.
So they arrested all of them, the boss, the workers, all of them, and that's her crime. She has been there for going to 2 years now.
Still awaiting trial?
Yes. The boss has told the court that she does not know anything about it, but now it's a capital offense. It's just a lot of story, really. I don't think it's my story to tell.
Yeah, I understand that. I respect that. I mean, it's just... It's one thing for someone to be doing an honest work, and it's another thing to just get in trouble for getting up to actually do an honest work.
Yeah.
My heart just sank, hearing what happened to her, and I hope she gets the help that she needs.
I hope so too.
Something else I want to revisit is the activities of the wardens towards the inmates. What is the relationship like between the wardens and the inmates there?
Well, some people are close to the wardens. There are some motherly wardens, very nice, always advise you, always tell you not to worry. You'll come out of here soon. This place is not your house and all of that. I was only close to 2 wardens because of my cell mother. She's like very close to them, and my own mother too are like close to the wardens. So I had to. It was just a family thing, so I had to.
How did this take a toll on your mental health? Like being locked up, for something that you felt, could have been avoided, and then being in the midst of people who had done stuff way bigger and larger than yours.
I think I was best active while I was there. It's not because prison is a bad place.
Yeah.
But I learned how to crochet. I went for classes. I went for a 6-week course, Justice and Resolution. Out on the Rocks hosted a games competition sometimes in July last year.
Okay.
I was part of the people that went to the maximum security for track race. I read 42 books when I was in there. My first week I read about 7 books, and the librarian that was an inmate took a special interest in me, and that was what I was avoiding. I didn't want to be too close to anybody. But I was the only person that would always come in every day to get books to read because I didn't have my phone. There was no TV, no radio. I just needed to distract myself. So she would always say, go and call this girl for me in New Cell. Go and call this girl for me. She reads a lot, so I would always help her sign in inmates trying to borrow books. And yeah, I acted, I ran, I danced, I tried to make hair because we are our own hairdresser, we are our own shoemaker, we are our own tailor. We do everything is done by the females there. The females are the ones that change their NEPA lights. We have tomboys that are actually queer people.
Yeah.
But that they look like boys, but they're actually females. So they're the ones that do the tough boy works, the packing of gutter, the cutting of the outside yard, and all of that. It was bad, and because when I came, I knew the type of person I was outside. So going in there to meet people that were there for worse crimes than you.
Yeah.
And you have to be friends with them because you have to hear their own
story.
Their story, their journey, how they've been coping. You have to use their own experience to learn. I would say it was just God wanting me to understand that you can't just misbehave because you're having a rough time. It could have been worse. There are days that I think that would I ever come out? There are days that you'll be gisting with this person, and the next minute you're hearing them to pack their load and they're gone. The person you're talking to now is outside, and you're thinking, when is it going to be mine? And and sometimes when I'm feeling bad and I'm crying on my bed at night, that God, please just release me. This would never happen again. I'm thinking about the elder one in the whole yard. She has been there for 13 years now, and our court, the Igbo court I heard, was burnt during the NSAS. Our case file got burnt. Now it's like our case is not even going anywhere. So I'm just using our own case as a consolation for me that at least me, I still have hope. I'm still going to court next week. I will know what's going on. I will know what's up and all of that. Because at some point when that guy stopped showing up in court, I wanted to go plead guilty. I was tired. I was spending about 3 months, and the case was not going nowhere. I called my lawyer in anger one afternoon and I said, Barrister, so me, I'm going to court on Monday to go and plead guilty. What's the worst that could happen? And my barrister told me that you're going to confess to felony. You're looking at 4 to 7 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, it took a toll. At some point, I grew high blood pressure.
High blood pressure?
Yeah. And I didn't know it because I was very playful. I play a lot. When I was there, I tried to make friends with the people around me that I could relate to. So I was always, I had a best friend there because we actually have so much in common aside from the crime part. She was like a lost sister to me. And she has been there for 2.5 years too. And our crime is also, I think, 6 million.
Oh wow.
So it took a toll. And I would always cry. I would always pray. That was when I knew how to pray best. Prayer was my best friend. For somebody that would not even open a Bible outside. Yeah, prayer was my best friend, and I didn't allow it affect me during the day. Everybody had the best of me during the day, but at night it was me, my Creator, and my Bible. I lost weight. Nobody knew in my house. Nobody knew in my family. I didn't tell nobody. I only told my last born. That's my mom's last child, my sister. She was the only one that knew, and that was because I had aged grandparents. I didn't want to scare them and all of that. And thinking about it now, I was wondering why I didn't tell anybody, because if I told somebody, I could have been out quicker.
You just mentioned aged grandparents. How about your parents?
I'm an orphan.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so it was easier to keep it to myself. But if I had parents and if they were alive, of course, if they didn't hear from their child in like a week, they would have put a call through. Yeah. So.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2. I'm the first.
Okay.
And I have a boy after me and the girl after the boy. So
the most curious question I think I have is, they call these facilities Kirikiri Correctional Facility. Is there anything correctional about that place?
Well, when I was there, and they want to like welcome the new inmates. Okay. They will tell you, you're welcome to Kirikiri Correctional Facility. That's the female correctional.
Sorry, who says this thing? Like the
inmates are the ones that say it because they feel like it's not correctional enough. Some of them have worse behaviors. People that are straight from outside are now lesbians.
Being in there.
Yeah, people that have that don't steal before. Some of them now pickpockets, carry your water, maybe you submit a bowl to get food. Somebody will go and carry a bowl of food and you have to pay the person you're buying food from and all of that. So people still do worse things inside. Only the ones that feel like, this should not be my end. This should not define me. This is not who I am. They are the ones that would come out and say, nah, I have to change the trajectory of my life. That was just a lesson. That was not where I'm supposed to be.
So the inmates themselves recognized it as correctional facility?
Yeah, they will tell you, welcome to the female correctional facility, Kirikiri Apapa.
Wow.
Yeah.
The organizations and churches that come to those facilities, what is your take on their activities?
Everybody just comes to do the same thing. Pray for your freedom, pray for your magistrate, pray for your prosecutor. Wherever they hid your case file, it should be found. Only few would actually come to encourage, would actually come to donate clothes, slippers, pads, sanitary pads, and just ladies hygiene package.
Mm.
And they actually tried their best. Churches, organizations. The other time Elegushi Beach came
Okay.
to share some things. There are other organizations that have to do with prisons outreach.
Now that you're out, how is your outlook to life, your outlook to crime?
I'm now very slow to listen. I like listen slowly and try to process what's going on around me.
Okay.
And life is fickle. Anything can happen. You can be driving now, pack, try to get food, and the next thing they are dropping you inside the police van. You don't even know what's going on. That's the story of a particular man that I was relating with, and I was praying, let mine be like this.
Mm.
So this man was coming back from work, packed his car to get bar soap, and that was how he was thrown into the police van and taken to medium prison for 2 years.
Hold on. He was driving his own car,
Yeah,
stopped by the road,
by a kiosk to
by
get
a
soap.
kiosk
Yeah,
to get soap.
yeah, and it was picked up and thrown into the
A police van.
yeah, and he was, what's going on? What did I do? So apparently, he has been in the prison for I think about a year plus, and I think they said a few months later they brought some new criminals into the yard,
Okay.
and the criminals they brought were pointing at him like, this is the guy, and I was like, this is what guy? You were the one we were supposed to kill. Yeah, like they paid for his life that day that he went to buy soap, but they couldn't find him because the police had already picked him up.
No way. No, 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 no,
So
no,
it
no,
was
no, no.
the police picking him up was a way of God protecting him from the people that were actually sent to kill him. So it was when the guys, the new criminals, were telling the world that it was this guy that day they were supposed to kill, and that's how the whole case became another court case, and the guy was freed. And those ones were, I don't know if they are serving time now, but they are, the last time I heard, they were still there.
This story is what?
Yeah.
I actually don't know how to react to this. Like, am I supposed to be happy to say,
I was,
God save
when
you,
I
like,
heard
oh.
it, I was shocked. I was like, how did that happen? Like, he hasn't been going to court. It's either his court does not sit, or his magistrate is on vacation. It was always one issue or the other.
And he was just lounging in the medium facility for 2
He
years.
said he will always go to church every time there was church service, and there is always church service in prison every day. Muslim services every day, Catholic every day, services run every day. So he said he would always go to the church, go to the back and cry. While service is going on, he's always crying. There was a particular pastor that told him that you don't know why God is keeping you here. Stop crying. I think it was a few weeks later the Aya assassins got arrested, and he came was like, I recognize you. We have your picture. We were supposed to kill you. And that's how it was vindicated, and it was discharged and acquitted.
Are there other inmates that you met that were there for things that they did not do?
Yeah, my cell mother was there for things she didn't do.
Obviously, the auxiliary nurse.
Yeah, I heard a story of a guy on Twitter. It was packed. He just went to charge in his neighbor's house and they packed all of them. He's been there for 10 years.
What?
Yes, 10 years. I read the story on Twitter and I'm like, what the hell? No lawyer. What's the court doing? What's his lawyer doing? 10 good years. It's still there.
For no crime whatsoever.
No. I had a friend that was pregnant when I was there. Her husband is a street urchin.
Okay.
And the husband had issues with somebody. They fought. The husband's gang went later behind the man's back to have another issues, and they killed the man. Only for them to wake up the next morning and they found the corpse of the man they killed in front of their own house.
The man they killed was brought in front of
my friend's husband's
house.
Yeah, and that's how they arrested the husband and her. So when I met her there, what's up? Why are you here with your pregnancy? Her husband's gang killed somebody, and that's how she was arrested. And
for something she knew absolutely nothing about.
She didn't know, and now she had a baby there. She has a baby now.
She gave birth inside the facility.
Yeah. The last time I reached out to them, she had a baby, and I was very happy. Although I really wished she didn't put to bed there. I really wish she was released before. Yeah. If you do crime and you're caught, you get to the station. Anything that takes you out of the station to court, there's no going back. You can settle everything you want to settle in the police station. If you do that and there's no settlement at the station, there's not going to be settlement at the courts. You have to perfect your bail in prison. You can't come out until.
So it's not a case of getting to court and then you're taken back to the police station.
No, but only in some cases. Maybe when the court is not sitting there, they will return you to station and come back the next day. But as soon as the magistrate or the high judge or whatever they call them asks guilty or not guilty, and you say guilty, and they give you bail, you're going to that place first. And it's not like you're going today, you're coming out tomorrow. It's a prison. It's easy, very easy to enter,
but very difficult.
Hard to come out. You'd say, I don't want to eat their eba. I'm going home tomorrow. You'll be surprised that tomorrow you say you're going home, your court will not sit. And you need your magistrate's signature to get out of anything. So yeah, that's why it's always a core prayer point that anybody injuring your magistrate from not sitting. It's a very, this public holiday that they will give everybody that will be excited that you are staying at home. It's a bad news for them. Because somebody will have a mind made up that tomorrow my magistrate is sitting, they will release me tomorrow, and they go to court and their court is not sitting. Do you know outside there, they are going back into prison. Okay, so your lawyer will now go to the court and collect another court date for you to come.
What has life been outside prison?
Life is hard, but I would rather be here than be there. So I think when people say when there's life, there's hope. Yeah, so, and it's very easy for female. I still keep saying it. It's very easy for female. For the men, it's worse. They all walk in handcuffs. They'll wear their trousers inside out, barefooted. They look so scruffy, so dirty. Sometimes I imagine the way they sleep. I imagine the life. I just sometimes I feel like I don't even want to be in your shoes, because looking at you, it doesn't. When we go to court, sometimes some people will hear and be like, I don't believe these girls are inmates, because we try our best to look okay. Not like you look so flashy like your judge will say, are you sure you're in the yeah. But we try our best to look presentable. When I came out, my brother heard, and I was so sad because of the way he spoke. I said, I didn't believe you would find yourself. You're so smart. How could you find yourself in that situation? Why would you do that? What was it? I just didn't know what to say. I just kept on crying. But I think now I'm getting a hang of it. I'm a work in progress. I'm trying. My little work I'm doing is doing okay. And I hope to transition into other things that could make me enough money to fund my lifestyle, to fund myself, and to cater for my siblings. So yeah.
So basically you're picking up the pieces.
Yeah, of course I would. If I don't, what's the point? That's what I have to do. That's what everybody does. That when you're given a chance again to do something tangible to make means. Yeah.
All in all, it was a learning curve.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And there is no going back to any of that.
Never. I just want to go back there as one of them that used to be there, just to give my advice, because
help, support.
Because I've been there. I know how it feels. I know how it is, and so. But no more going back as a criminal. Never again.
What do you say to people who think they are strong-headed? They don't listen. They like trouble.
Kirikiri Female Correctional Facility, or Kirikiri Maximum Security, or Kirikiri Medium Security Prison is not where you want to be. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go to prison. The name should even scare people. There was a woman that cut her husband's dick off.
Sliced his penis off.
Because of anger. And when I got there, she has been there for like 4 years. Anger. She's still awaiting trial. And those kind of cases, they don't get attended to very fast. It's not easy. That's just what I'm going to tell everybody. Please don't do crimes. You don't want to go there. It's a terrible place. Everybody sleeps in the cage. They lock you like chicken. By 5 p.m., you have to go back into your cell. But I still have spots on my skin from bed bugs. It's just another world. I would not even pray for that place for my worst enemy. And if you don't have anybody sending you money from outside, you have to work for people. If you can't wash the toilets, you pay somebody money to wash it for you. That's how some of them survive. People that don't have family outside. There are some parents now that don't know that their children are in prison. There are some families that don't know that their nieces, their nephews, their kids, or they are in prison. There are some people that you think they died, but they are there some time. That's why I say it's another world on its own. There are so many people that you think, oh, they probably moved out of the country. It's a lie. Some people are arrested at the airports for drugs. You think they're in the UK, US living life. It's a lie, oh. They are in prison, oh. But nobody will tell you. So I would say, don't do crime. If you don't want to expect, especially for the medium, for the men. Oh Jesus, I don't want to. I don't even know what they're experiencing. I don't know.
Thank you for coming. I really
Thank you very
appreciate
much for
having
having
you
me.
here, talking to me, and this was very enlightening. A rush of emotions, a mix of so many things. A lot is going on in my head right now, and I think I also need time. For the first time, I think this is for the for the first time. After this episode, I'm going to sit back and thank you guys for sticking with me to the end. I'm sure you guys had an amazing time as much as I did. It was a very enlightening conversation. I've learned so much. I've heard so much. I'm broken for so many reasons. And I'm also happy that at the end of the day, she was set free and she has learned a lot. If not for this experience, I wouldn't have heard some of the things that I've heard. I wouldn't have. As always, I would ask you to please subscribe to the channel, like this video, please leave a comment. The engagement actually helps. A whole lot of people have gotten the help that they need just by reading someone else's comment. And if you want to be a guest on the show, please send a DM on Instagram at 1206.tv, 1206.tv. Just tell me you want to be a guest on the show. Tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll get you here to speak to us. It's been an engaging time. It's been a wonderful moment, having my guest here. A rush of emotions, a valley of feelings. I don't even honestly don't know how I feel right now. But all in all, if this was her confession, what is yours? See you on the next episode.